Welcome back to another week of Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. I'm Drury, that's Clarkey, and we're very pleased to be joined by another great special guest. Our buddy, we turn to this guy when it's time to talk hoops, and why wouldn't we? He's the best hoops analyst in this country, dare I say the continent. Ladies and gentlemen, a man who has been with the Toronto Raptors doing games for over 30 years.
30
Ladies and
years.
gentlemen,
Wow.
Paul Jones. Jonesy, welcome back, brother. Great to see you. How are you?
I'm good. You know, I always say Ryan and Clarkey can probably relate to this, being of a similar vintage. You know, at grandma's house when they roll the furniture in and the plastics on it to preserve it.
Yeah.
They just peeled the plastic off me. It's been 30 years. They just it's all downhill from here. They just peeled the plastic off. But
30 years. That's unbelievable, isn't it?
yeah, 30
years.
Yeah,
so that would have been 94?
Well, 94 and 95 was when the team was born.
Yeah.
But the first game, this is the 30th season, but the first game was November 3rd, 1995. So this would be the 30th season that we're in now.
What do you remember about that?
Game one, I remember it being a late game. I remember it being a 9:00 game, Clarkey, and a very late start because of the pomp and circumstance involved in it being the opening night, first game of franchise history. I remember our friend, the Raptor, busting out of the egg. And by the way, for people that have a question, it is still the same person in the costume.
It's unbelievable.
Wow.
Ryan.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. He doesn't like to have his identity out.
I know he does. I'm not saying his last name, but I know.
Yeah. No.
Obviously.
But
Yeah.
You would know that, Clark.
Yeah.
You know,
That
Herbie
is
Kuhn.
unbelievable.
Herbie Kuhn is still the original in-arena voice.
Yes.
Leo and I were there. Leo called the first game on TV. I called the first game on radio. And so
that would have been CFRB?
CFRB with Mike Inglis. Right.
That's right.
That's right.
Mike Inglis. Yes.
And Leo did the first game with on CK, the new VR on CKVR.
Wow.
With John Saunders. I also remember people they wanted to get into the game, but they didn't really know all the nuances about, when should I be cheering? When should I be booing? And Michael Malone,
still don't.
Michael Malone, the head coach of the Denver Nuggets, whose dad, the late Brendan Malone, was the first coach, said he remembers them giving out, the thunder sticks that you bang against to distract. Well, they gave them out at the wrong end. And they were doing it in front of the Raptor players when it should have been at the other end. But people wanted to get into the game, but the hardcore people knew what was going on. I remember Alvin Robertson scoring the first basket. I remember like a hard-fought game and Toronto winning pretty easily, 94-79.
Yeah.
And I remember the ride on the bus to the airport, because it was only one bus with players, broadcasters, everybody. Now the team travels. There's like 4 buses. There's a bus just for the freaking luggage, and all the people. But I do remember that, and it was really cool. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
The first week really sits with me because that was the Friday night game. There was a back-to-back in Indiana on the Saturday, and the Raptors were getting absolutely drilled at halftime in the game. And the guy who was giving out the halftime stats took the stat sheet and he goes, expansion team, good luck. And Toronto was down by, down by like 20. And then Brendan Malone came out with a plan in the second half to attack Mark Jackson, who he knew from his days in New York when Mark played New York and Brendan was an assistant coach. And the look on Mark Jackson's face was, really, Brendan, you're going to do this to me. You're going to let this rookie kid embarrass me. And Damon just went to town. And the Raptors ended up losing a close game. And then the night after the game, not unlike now where you stay in the city and you get proper rest or whatever, it was game over, next city. We get into Chicago, and the Monday is the first game against Michael and the Bulls. And that one went down to the wire too. And man, Toronto played their backsides off. And I remember Jordan making huge shots at the end of the game. But that week, those first 3-4 games stay with me. Coming back to the Sky Dome, playing
the Sky Dome,
playing the Houston Rockets, and having Robert Ory make a buzzer beater to beat Toronto like 107-106 or 106-105. It was the first night that I met Superfan, Nav Bhatia. And so, there's a lot of things about that first season. And the other thing that stands out, of course, the win over the Bulls, the 72-10 Bulls, a win over them on the Sunday. But my first trade deadline day also stands out because I wasn't with the team, and I traveled on what I like to call affectionately the milk run. The game was in Utah, and I got up and flew 7 a.m, Toronto, Detroit. Then I flew Detroit to Dallas, then Dallas to Salt Lake City. Like I was all traveled out by the time I got there. And I was walking to the hotel with my bags, and I saw Ed Pinkney and Tony Massenberg leaving the hotel. And I said, man, you guys are going to the gym early. Massenberg didn't say a word, kept walking. Eddie Pinkney, who I'm still in contact with, he's become a really good friend, said, Jonesy, I just got traded back to Philly. And I was like, wow, these guys are sitting at the back of the plane with us. We're playing cards. We're laughing. We're listening to music. And now they're gone. And that was, Clarkey, Ryan, that was the first time. I mean, we'd always heard the line, oh, it's a business. It's a business.
Yeah.
But that was the first time that I'd lived it. It actually hit me that these guys had played their backsides off for this team, but somebody thought they could use them somewhere else, and Isaiah was getting draft picks or what, and like, bang, they were gone. Pack your stuff, you're gone. So that's when the business side of it really, really hit me. But there've been a whole bunch of memories along the way, and Saturday night's Vince Carter retirement was really brought a lot of them kind of rushing back for me.
And so you mentioned Mike Inglis, obviously Chuck Swirsky. Who else along the way did you work with there?
Well, it's funny because I last week, I'm sure everybody's seen it on social media, the plane with Vince's picture on it and everything. It was Chuck Swirsky that actually gave him the nickname Air Canada. The other one stuck too, Vinsanity, half man, half amazing. But Chuck was the one that, and I gave Chuck credit when I had my little fireside chat with Vince about that. But I remember being quite impressed that I got to work alongside Mike and John Saunders. John Saunders at the time was a giant in the business at ESPN. He was doing all the big NBA stuff and college football, and he was doing Sports Center, and he's a Canadian guy that I'd known before as a kid, and so that was impressive to me. Being able to do that. And I worked a year with Romanuk. And then it's been Eric and I. And I think, we should probably look at this. I think Eric and I are the longest standing broadcast duo, maybe in Canadian sports history. I don't know of any two guys that have worked together on the broadcast for 20 years. Clarkey, you put Eric and I together in the studio back in, 2000, 99 maybe.
Yeah.
But we've been doing the broadcast together since 2005. So we're coming up to like 20 years. This is our 20th season together. So how long have Bonesy's been on the air? He's another one they rolled in with the furniture.
Well, he's been on the air a while, but he was obviously with Bill Waters and Gord
He's had a few guys.
A few guys for sure.
Harry Neal back on TV.
Yes, Ryan. Yeah.
So, you guys would probably have a pretty solid claim to that title.
But Tom and Jerry, they were obviously there a long time.
Tom and Jerry,
a long time too. I mean,
I wonder how long they were. Like they were.
Yeah, because Jerry didn't start. It was early win to start.
Yeah, exactly.
That's right.
But I think Jerry started in like 1980, and then 20 something years for sure.
Yeah.
Yep. It'd be up there.
Yeah.
And I mean, Jonesy, you talk about all the things you've seen over the course of this franchise lifespan, and you talk about it being a business. I mean, that certainly came to the fore with a guy like Vince Carter, because I mean, the end of his time in Toronto was quite acrimonious. And, you talk about all the events that happened last weekend, obviously with his jersey being retired. What's your feeling on that? Because, I mean, call me a sour guy. I still personally don't feel like they should have retired his number. Yeah. But what is your feeling of, because it's up there now?
And Ryan, I'm going to be kind of labyrinthine with this all over the place, but I absolutely think it should have been retired, and I absolutely think he should have been the first one. And there are a lot of people like yourself, and I would say mostly younger people, who remember the exit and probably couldn't quite grasp at the time it was happening what that meant in terms of Vince putting Toronto on the NBA map. I mean, it was like I've been watching the NBA since 1970. And there it was, 98, 99, 2000, and all of the biggest stuff in the NBA was happening in Toronto. NBC was changing their weekly schedule to put Vince on TV. He revived the NBA. He resuscitated the NBA in the slam dunk contest in 2000 after the lockout year. And he told me a funny story that I asked him, because I was the last person to interview him before he took the floor. I asked him why he wasn't confident. He said, well, there were a lot of good dunkers. He didn't get a warm up. The car that was supposed to bring him to the arena in Oakland was late, and just all of those things. And he went out there, and I said to people, it was like the 10 Commandments when Charlton Heston saw the light in the sky. He transformed. Vince left the bowels of the arena. Like, we're doing the interview here, and the door is like 10 feet to our left. And it's like he walked out the door, and the noise and the din from the arena hit him. And he just turned into this other guy that put up these dunks. That famous between the legs dunk, he told me that he saw it in a magazine 2 weeks before and had to figure out how, because it was a shoe ad, and had to figure out how he could pull that dunk off. But Ryan, there are a lot of people, as you say, it was, your word, acrimonious. It was tumultuous. And I think Vince, here I go on the path. I think Vince recognized his part in it, and claimed that when he said to the crowd at Scotiabank, that jersey's going up there, not for me, but for us. And I don't care how you feel. I don't know how you feel about it, but it's all going up there. And that to me meant good and bad. And he wears his part of the exit. But what people don't know is, in and around all of this, he quit on the team and didn't want to be in Toronto anymore. I think management failed him by not giving him the teammates or keeping the group together necessary to win. They brought all those vets in, and they brought Butch Carter in, and that was a turning point. Glenn Grunwald stood there at Maple Leaf Gardens in 16 and 66 and said, this will never happen again. And it didn't. By the time they went through the lockout and the team was formed, they'd had Doug Christie was already there. They drafted Vince. They traded for Oakley. They traded for Antonio Davis. They traded for Kevin Willis. They'd signed Del Curry as a free agent. They'd signed Dee Brown. Like, it was suddenly a whole new veteran team. As Oakley said, Vince and Tracy were the lead singers, and we were the backup band, right? They were the steering wheel, and we were just the tires. And management Glenn tried, but they couldn't keep it together. And then when it started to go down, like everybody else, and remember, it's not the era now in terms of player empowerment where a guy says, I want to leave, and everybody says, okay, we'll help you out. It didn't happen back then in 2000. You want to leave, and suddenly you were looked at as disloyal, a bad guy. But what people don't know, Ryan, is at the end, Vince actually came back around and said, you know what? I don't want to be traded. I'll stay here. I like the young guys we have with Bosch, and I like you know what? I'll stay. And it was the late Rob Babcock who said, no, I gave my word to New Jersey. We're going to make this deal. And Vince was like, he went to Sam Mitchell who went into the general manager's office with an assistant coach and said, no, like he wants to stay. Let's keep him. No, I gave my word. We're making the trade. Well, call it off. You can, if anybody knows any reason why these two should not be, call it off. Call it off. And they didn't. And Vince left and had to wear some of that going to New Jersey that people thought he had totally orchestrated his way out. He did partially, but it's kind of like an argument with two people. Finally, somebody swallows their pride and says, you know what? That was bad. That was really wrong. I take my blame in it. I'm sorry. Can we fix this? And I figured that's what Vince was doing. And the other side was too far down the road. So, Ryan, I get you. And it's mostly your demographic, the younger people that are, I can't believe they're retiring his number. He left, like the way he left. But then again, hey, Michael Jordan played for different teams. He was forced out. He didn't leave. The Last Dance. It was, oh God, my computer's about to sign out. Hang on a second. Hang on.
All good.
Snooze. I got 15 minutes before it restarts automatically. I'm trying to snooze it here. But Ryan, it is the people of that generation. And Jordan played for teams. He was forced out. Tracy McGrady left Toronto, played for a number of teams. Shaq played for a number of teams. LeBron's on his fourth team. Like, it just, I always say, and Clarkey, you and I know this as old heads, if you want loyalty, there's no loyalty in sports. If you want loyalty, buy a dog. I mean, look at what Wendell Clark gave to the Leafs, and we can get a better guy, we think, in Matt Sundin. Boom, trade, gone to Quebec. Like, it's just the way it is. So I see the young generation seeing that, Rye, but at the same time, what Vince did, I mean, he led the All-Star balloting 2 separate years from Toronto. He wasn't in New York. He wasn't in LA. You couldn't vote on the internet. You had to take your butt to the arena, punch a hole in the thing, and put it in the box. And Vince Carter led the All-Star game in balloting. And you know what? The second time he did it, it was Michael Jordan's last All-Star game. And he even led Michael Jordan that year. So he put Toronto on the map. And I think some of that gets lost in the way he went out and the tumult and as you said, acrimony around that, Ryan. So I absolutely believe he's the first one. And people were saying it should have been Kyle or DeMar. Well, those guys aren't around if Vince doesn't do what he does and draw the attention to Toronto and help stabilize management after the Isaiah leaving and all of that. And look,
you really think that?
I don't know, Clarkey, but just the way the dollar was, I look at what happened to Vancouver. They could have been the Kansas City Raptors or the St. Louis Raptors if somebody might have come up with money. I don't know. I don't think so. But it was all, wasn't it, Clarkey, you were here. Didn't you always feel that was kind of hovering?
Yeah, when Vancouver left, for sure.
Yeah, it's one of those things, I guess, where for me, it's not even so much just the leaving and the tumultuous nature of that whole situation. It's also just that, like, and I get it, like LeBron's jumped around and Jordan moved around late in his career, Shaq too. I guess my bugaboo with it all is like those guys won titles. Yeah. And like, and I guess my line here is just like, this is a franchise that now has a championship on its ledger. And I'm fine with Vince being welcomed back by the fan base in terms of having him around and be celebrated in terms of that. I'm just not sure that jersey retirement for me, like that is like it's
the really holy grail.
High. Yeah. And didn't win a championship, no MVPs. He won a dunk contest. It's fantastic. And he made a bunch of first NBA All-Star teams. No MVPs, no significant playoff victories, didn't even make a conference final. I understand he's a very key part of the building block of what made this franchise. I just don't know that it qualifies enough for me to be jersey retirement.
It does for me, Ryan. It does, because the NBA was fleeting. There were teams moving. You know, we saw Vancouver move.
You're right.
It was an expansion situation where he solidified Toronto. His play,
I don't disagree with that.
And I don't disagree with that. I think it's that more than anything else, that it's the first turn of the shovel. You have this beautiful building, but somebody's got to break the ground to put the foundation down. And I mean, when you hear players saying that, Kyle, DeMar, all of the other players that came after him that grew up as kids watching Vince do what he did, and the generation of Canadians it inspired, Tristan Thompson, Corey Joseph, people like that. To me, that's worthy. It is. And listen, some people say, no, he did. You're right. He didn't win a title. He didn't get to a conference final. But for what he did to solidify the city's place, and there are some people that say, well, we knew we were good. Yeah, we did. And the hardcores did. But the rest of the world didn't. And kind of like don't jump, people when they watch this, don't jump on me for the comparison. But what I can think of is the same thing that Tiger Woods did for minorities in golf. Now, mind you, to your point, Ryan.
Yeah.
Tiger did that because he won. But
yes.
But he made it cool now. Like, I look at some of these other guys, like, you know, these guys that are stars now in golf, Bryson DeChambeau, Rory McIlroy. Some of them have like Rory's been stuck on 4 majors. Tiger's got 15.
Yeah.
You know, like, so like the successes are celebrated and kind of what they did for the game almost, you know, usurps and goes beyond. There was another word I was going to use, but I don't like that guy. It goes beyond, you know, some of the other stuff that people see as a negative.
Yeah, for sure. It's an interesting
debate. It's a great debate, isn't it?
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter because it's up there. And I'm happy that he is at a place now and the fans are at a place now where Vince is welcomed back and celebrated. Well, however you feel about it or not. Yeah, he did address it. I thought his speech was very classy, and I was happy for the guy. Who am I to go up there and try and rip the thing down, right? I mean, like, Drake. He said Drake, yeah.
Trying to be Drake.
DeMar, yeah, no kidding, eh? I want to ask you as well, you know, one thing that's developed early on in this Raptor season, yes, they're struggling, I know, and everything, and Scotty Barnes has some injury problems. Grady Dick, it looks like they got a player in this guy, man. Like, he is lights out good.
Yeah, he's coming around. You know, he realized that, you know, what's the old line, Clarkey, Bill Parcells, when you're a rookie, you don't know you didn't know. And you know, he's in his second year and now he knows, you know, and then as they say in the third year, you better know. Mm-hmm. So I think Grady, and he did a lot of work this summer. I talked to his dad, his mom and dad, and the Raptors coaching staff were spending inordinate amounts of time in Kansas with him, in Lawrence, Kansas, and working him out. And so you're seeing that. And he's been a quick study. He's learned what to do, what he can do, and he's got the green light, and things are good for him now. It's about learning how to win when it comes down the stretch for him and a lot of the young Raptors.
Yeah, for sure. Are you going on the road?
Absolutely is.
Is the broadcast going? No. Okay.
No, since COVID, we have been
ridiculous.
We've been like that dog chained to the backyard fence. We can only go so far.
That.
It's so stupid. Are the Raptors the only team doing it?
No. And this is, you know, I had a prominent national broadcaster in the US say to me, wait, the Toronto Maple Leafs aren't traveling their radio crew either? I said, no, they're not. And he shook his head and he said, that would be like the LA Dodgers or the New York Yankees not traveling their radio crew.
That's I know.
That's what the Leafs mean to hockey as a charter franchise. So
you can't get a sponsor to sponsor games to anyway, whatever. I'm not getting there. I'm not going there.
I know, Clarkey. I'll walk you back off the ledge here because we gotta let Jonesy go. Yeah. But before we do that, I need to ask you your opinion on a very hotly debated story in the NBA, and that is Joel Embiid. Now, this guy has somebody's got to just like get a hold of his social media or coach him on how to do media, because he got himself in the 76ers in a lot of trouble. His odd comments about I'll never play a back-to-back again. Like, Jonesy, you just cannot have an MVP caliber player in a league like the NBA saying stuff like this.
Well, the bubble that's over his head broke. I don't think he should have come out with not that definitively. I mean, you can say, hey, it might be tough for me to play in back-to-backs. Like, I don't think you come out and say that. And the issue, Ryan, to me really is the people that buy tickets, right?
Yes.
Like for sure.
Like Steph Curry played last year for the first time in 5 years in Toronto because of back-to-backs and COVID and travel and stuff like that. So people save their money, and it's basically a mortgage payment to go to a game. I remember taking my kids to a Leaf game. It was $78.50 to sit up in the 5 rows from the top, and there was 5 of us. So, there's $400 right there. Mm-hmm. You park your car. There's another $40. You go inside, you buy a couple of hot dogs and a drink.
$60.
There's another. Then now I'm up to 500. And daddy, can I have a hat, or can I have a mini stick, or you buy a few of those? And and it's like, at that time, it's like, okay, it's a $600 night. Do I do that or pay my biweekly mortgage? Right.
And that could be a Tuesday night in November in a crappy game.
But at least I'm seeing people. What if I did that to see LeBron and he was on a load
for sure.
Right. Yeah. So you're right. You're right, Ryan. It to me, that's the issue. And look, Michael Jordan said it. He played 82 games in his career 12 times. And he said, because somebody saved their money to come and see me play. And Kobe said the same thing. He said, and I'm going to give them a show. I want them to leave the arena going, oh, the night that, Scott Carson, who's the statistician for the Blue Jays, he and my brother Mark left the TSN newsroom one night at 9:00. Drove to Detroit, stayed in a Roach hotel, drove to the Silverdome the next day, bought tickets way up in the top because Scott Carson was a Chicago fan and wanted to see Jordan. And you know what? Jordan scored 62 that night. Scotty still talks about it. He's 60 odd years old. He's still talking about it from 35, 40 years ago because Michael gave him a show. And that's, Ryan, to your point, I think that's what's missing when you say stuff like that.
And too many people don't care now. The player wise, they don't.
Yeah, a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. And guys of that vintage, the Kobes, the Michaels, that like every night they wanted to play. They desperately wanted to go. Yeah. I'm the big dog on
guys wanted to pitch 9 innings. Guys wanted
to pitch 9 innings, and I don't
like what's going on.
To Charles Barkley's point, I mean, the guy's getting paid over $60 million a year. He got a max contract, and then he turns around and says, "Yeah, you might never see me play back-to-backs." Like, are you kidding me, sir? Like,
Kevin Garnett has a great thing on social about that, where he says, "Hey, man, that's a job. You got to show up for work 2 days in a row. Come on, man.
Come on."
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. Or as Clarkey, as you said, I'm watching a guy with a no-hitter in the 5th inning, and the manager comes out and asks for the ball.
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because the numbers.
Because the computer told me to.
Yeah.
The computer told me to. Yeah, that's something, eh? Well, we know one guy that always shows up and does his job, and that's our buddy Jonesy.
Hey, man,
Jonesy.
like Clarkey said, chop wood, carry water, right? Like, get it done.
Yes, sir, man. Jonesy, we love having you on. It's great to catch up with you, brother. We love listening to you. Congrats on 30 years, man. It's just an incredible accomplishment for you. Thanks so much for doing this, my friend.
And congrats to that guy who's on with you, because he had the foresight when he was at 5'9" to say, you know what? I think Jonesy and Eric would make a good team. And, he put the shovel in the ground, and convince Nelson Millman to give these two a try together. And, here we are, 24 years later and 20 years later on a broadcast. So Clarkey, never forgotten that one, my friend.
Absolutely. Clarkey, he's a man of ideas. You know what they say? We'll throw another great old saying out there. Even a blind squirrel finds another. How about that? And you are certainly the nut, Jonesy, that he found. Congratulations, man. 30 years. Thanks for doing this, brothers. Great to see you.
Pleasure. I don't know how to take that last
I don't either.
We will be right back. He's the golden goose. He's the golden goose.
That's better than a nut.
We will be right back. When we come back, lots to talk about. CFL conference finals. Hey, how about that? Our boatmen are involved, and we got to talk a little bit about this NCAA hockey ruling. Lots to talk about here on Instigating. Welcome back to Instigating with Clarkey and Drury. Thank you so much to Paul Jones, longtime Raptors analyst, OG Raptors analyst, 30 years of covering the Raps. Just incredible stuff for Jonesy, and he's one of the best, especially when we're talking hoops. Jonesy is the man. And Clarkey, speaking of the man of the occasion for the Raptors recently was, of course, Vince Carter, old Vince Sanity, man. And he was very emotional, very excited. It looked genuine, which was nice to see. And it was cool for him and his family getting the jersey retired. And we talked about it obviously with Paul, and I just want your thoughts on it, because you were very much embedded in the sports scene, when Vince left, had you started at Leafs TV yet? Were you working for MLSE when he left?
When did he leave?
What was that, 03 or 04, give or take?
So I started
maybe even 02?
2001. So
okay.
Yeah. So yeah, I was still around, but I didn't have any dealings with him whatsoever.
No,
and if I did, I've forgotten. But no,
but you would have remembered how tense it was in the city at the time. I mean, the whole thing where he had to go down and get his college degree and all that stuff, the graduation. He comes back game 7, not good, and then ended up forcing his way out of town. And I mean, and we talked about it with Jonesy, the Raptors fans were sour, very sour toward this guy and the way that he did his business. Yeah. And he wasn't the only one, Tracy McGrady, same type of deal. There was a lot of ill will toward
And those two guys were the two guys, right? They were going to
They were the guys. They were.
Sure,
they were.
Those two guys.
So I want your opinion. Did you think it was a good move for the Raptors to retire his jersey? Like me, and I said it to Jones, I personally don't really agree with it. I don't think that he should have his number retired.
Why?
Because I don't think he achieved anything of significance to warrant something like that.
So it had nothing to do with the way he left or having to leave to go to get his college degree.
That played a part of it. So it's a combo of a couple things. It's the way that he forced his way out and basically put his foot on the throat of the franchise and the fans, not thumbs up. And also the fact that I just personally don't feel like guys that achieved literally nothing. Would they win one playoff series his whole time there? That's what we're retiring numbers for now.
Obviously,
for nothing?
The Raptors have. I think the Raptors were desperate to put someone up in the rafters, which isn't the right way to do it. And I agree with you.
I know.
I have no problem with putting a guy up who might have left a little sour taste in my mouth. I don't have a problem if he had achieved an unbelievable career and won a championship, or maybe not even won a championship, but if he had an unbelievable career here in Toronto. But and maybe I'm relating it to like Darryl Sittler. Like Sittler's in the rafters. Sittler was a great Leaf, but there was a dark time with Darryl Sittler. Now, the reason there was a dark time
wasn't his fault.
Right. Then that's the difference, right? That's the difference.
He never wanted to leave.
No, but
Old man
taking the
Harold
C
forced
off
him
the
out.
jersey and everything else, and it was just not a good time. But you're right, it was Punch Imlach, who thought,
Harold.
you know what, and Harold for sure. But Punch, traded his buddy Lanny to Colorado for Wilfie Paymont, and Daryl had enough, and it was not a great way to finish things, and it didn't even finish things right away. Then he went on to play for Detroit and Philadelphia after that. But I don't know. Like Kawhi Leonard probably did more than Vince Carter did, because Kawhi Leonard brought a championship.
Absolutely.
That's why.
Absolutely.
Right.
And I would disagree.
But you can't put a guy in the rafters.
No.
For playing one season.
Just because he won a title. No, absolutely not.
You put the banner up. That's what you put up. You put the banner
Vince, up. You're right.
If you want to put a statue out front of that unbelievable shot and him squatting in the corner, I have no problem with that either. Signifying a very, very significant time in Raptor history. That's an unbelievable shot that no one will forget about.
Yes, that's
but to
fine.
put Vince up in the rafters, no, I don't agree with it.
I just disagree with it. And the reason why, too, like, no MVPs, no major individual awards. The guy won a dunk contest. And I mean, like, let's not take that away from him. Fine. And an iconic moment for sure.
Who cares,
but
though?
Loads of
like
franchises.
Mr. Fancy Pants winning something. Who cares?
Yes, that's kind of that's a good compare. Because look, every sports franchise, even the bad ones that get bagged on all the time, have significant moments in their history. Like, this would be like the Columbus Blue Jackets, like putting a banner up because Rick Nash scored that really nice goal against the Coyotes that one time. Like, it's just like, because what a lot of Raptors fans, I've been canvassing my inner circle of sports fans and reaching out to my Raptors friends, and I'm like, do you agree with this? And a good majority of them are in support of it. And I said, why though? Like, he didn't achieve anything of merit. And what they all almost to a man said to me was, well, he helped put the Raptors on the map. And my response to that is, whose map? ESPN's? Because they had to pay attention to the Raptors because he was really, really, really good? Whose map did he put Toronto on? And I really do agree with Hayes on Overdrive and those guys basically saying this is typical Toronto sports anxiety syndrome. There's an inferiority complex with Toronto sports fans going, we're always the bridesmaid, never the bride, with big star players in these sports, and we've got to honor. Like, no, you don't.
No, you don't.
I just really
was he a good player?
Disagree.
Sure, he was
a very, very good player. No question. Rookie of the year. And that was his real only major honor. I think he made the first All-NBA team 3 times as a Raptor. I could be wrong there. But no championships, conference finals even. Like, no conference championships. Never won the division, I don't think either. And he's not even the all-time leader in points either. Like, no
MVPs, right?
Late now.
No
MVPs.
Nothing like that.
It's too late now. He's up there, and good for Vince. Me personally, if I was in charge over there, I never would have okayed this. I don't even know what to compare this to. Like, the Leafs, they've already got so many guys honored. I guess this would be like the Capitals retiring like Mike Green's number. And I love Mike Green, and he was the best offensive defenseman in the league for like 4, some would say 5 years.
Super player,
Broke Paul Coffey's consecutive goal scoring record for defensemen. I love Mike Green, one of my all-time favorite Capitals. They shouldn't retire his number.
What about Rick Vive?
Ricky.
Not in the rafters.
Rick Vive.
First player to score 50 goals in Leaf history.
For the Leafs. And he did it 3 times.
Yeah.
I honestly, though, that's the type of thing that you open. And I know Rick has a complicated history. I understand that. But that's the type of worms in a can that you open when you do stuff like this. Because how could you argue putting a guy like that up there? That's a significant milestone. 50 goal first Leaf to ever do it in a very long and proud history.
Yeah.
I mean, other guys are up there that you could argue his legacy is similar to. I would say,
Lowry.
if anything, it's
Kyle
similar
Lowry
to
should
Vince.
be up there.
Kyle Lowry should have been the first, and I would argue only Raptor so far.
Yeah.
Who should be there?
Yeah.
I don't think Bosch should be there. I don't think McGrady, and I don't think Kawhi should either.
No, I don't either. You can't play 1 year and go up to the Raptors.
No, absolutely not. Kyle, longevity, franchise leader in points.
Yeah.
Won a championship and put up with a lot of crap in his time in Toronto too, and was a good, solid leader.
Yeah.
He's the only guy in Raptors history that should ever have been considered. Because the argument,
I don't disagree with you.
He helped put us on the map. Lots of good players on bad franchises helped put the team on the map. I don't think that means that you should go up there. Like someone said to me, a guy that I asked this to, my buddy Dan, said to me, well, what about your Capitals, right? Like there are guys from way before the Cup happened that have their number honored. He's like, I mean, Rod Langway. I was like, Rod Langway won the Norris Trophy numerous times as the best defenseman in the league. He was a very significant superstar Hall of Fame talent. And Vince Carter is a Hall of Fame talent as well. But he didn't achieve anything, even on an individual level, where someone said, you're the best at your position in this game.
Right.
Never happened.
Yeah.
And
the only thing he was the best Raptor for a few years. That's the only thing. But that didn't matter. They were not a good basketball team for a lot of years.
It can matter to the fans, and it's great to hold on to those memories, and everyone remembers Vinsanity, and yes, great. Number retired? That's a tough sell for me, Clarkey. It's a really, really tough sell. I just wondered what your thoughts were on it, for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's a tough sell for me. I don't know where it came from. I don't know. Different ownership. I don't know. I don't know
either, brother. For sure. Weird one for sure. Some very big news dropping. We're recording this Thursday, November 7th. Today happened to be the day when there was a very significant vote by the NCAA, and that was a vote to potentially allow CHL players, so players that play in the OHL, WHL, the Q, to be eligible to play for NCAA college programs. Now, if you're not familiar with this, for the longest time, the NCAA has considered players that play in the Canadian Hockey League, and all you have to do is play one game to be considered a professional, because OHL players receive a stipend, a very small one, from teams. So any monetary exchange, the NCAA has considered you a pro, meaning you are ineligible to play college hockey, which for a very long time, closed off development avenues and other means of playing hockey post junior age, right? Because many guys that play in the NCAA are 19, 20, 21. They voted today and have backtracked on that ruling, and it will come into effect next year on August 1st. So as of August 1st next year, if you play in the CHL, you are allowed to still be eligible to eventually, if you want, go to the NCAA. It's a big, big day, Clarkey. I mean, like this could significantly change things for the junior hockey landscape.
How do you think? Do you think there'll be people like kids leaving the CHL to go play NCAA, and it's going to hurt the league? Is that what you're getting at?
No, I actually think that this will actually help the CHL.
How?
Follow me on this.
Yeah.
So a lot of guys avoid coming up here and still, even in some instances, get drafted by teams. Like there are a lot of players over the years, even since I've been involved in the league, that are first round talents that get drafted in like the 9th round because teams take a pretend flyer on them. Like, oh, well, if he changes his mind, right? Well, now you can, if you're a 16-year-old, where, keep in mind, the rule used to be if you were a 16-year-old and got offered a scholarship at a great school, Michigan or Vermont or something like that, Denver, and you played one single game in the CHL, you lost your eligibility. Like, you could not go to school after that in the United States. So a lot of guys would wrestle with the decision and ultimately decide, okay, I'll play in the USHL until I'm of college age, miss out on potentially developing at an even higher level in the CHL. It is still the number one league in the world that cranks out the most NHL talent by far. And they would play in lesser leagues and then stick it out and go to college. Now, if you're a 16-year-old kid and get offered a college scholarship, you can go, well, maybe I will go up to the CHL and play even just 2 years. I'll play till I'm 18, and then I'll come down here to the NCAA. Or maybe I love the CHL so much in my time there, I stay another year or even play as an overager, and I can still go to college after. So I actually think that this will help recruit players to the CHL that never even would have considered it before. You know who it will hurt, though, I think, Clarkey, is Tier 2 Junior A players and Junior B players. Because you can play in Tier 2 Junior A, like the Alberta Junior Hockey League, the GOJHL here, the OJHL here in Ontario, play Tier 2, and you're eligible to still play in the NCAA. And a lot of those kids end up getting scholarship offers because the kids that play in the CHL were barred. Now that that's not the case, schools will go and approach 19 and 20-year-old kids that are playing here and say, well, now that you're allowed to come here, we'll offer you the scholarship instead. Mm-hmm. So there will be a trickle-down effect here where it does hurt players in lower junior leagues. There's no doubt about that. Is it going
to affect anything with Canadian universities where guys get a free ride if they play a game in the O?
For sure.
CHL?
For sure. It will affect will affect U Sport. It will affect U Sport because if you're a 20-year-old, say, or a 19-year-old, and you're thinking, this is probably going to be my last year in the OHL, I'm not going to come back as an overager, or you are an overager, Canadian university programs, Laurier or the Guelph Griffins or whoever could approach you and say, because your package, your OHL educational post-secondary package is for Canadian schools.
Yep.
So you would go and utilize that package that you earned and go play college hockey here.
Right.
It will affect the recruitment because now, Michigan State can call those players and say, when you're done up there playing for the Barrie Colts, why don't you come down here to Michigan State? Yeah. It will affect. Yeah, it will out. You're right. I hadn't even considered that. It absolutely will affect U Sports.
That's what I'm here for, Ryan.
To keep me on the rail. Rick Westhead tweeted today, just about an hour ago, player agent JP Barry, very well-known NHL agent. He said, and I quote, for top CHL teams, it puts muscles on top of muscles because it's going to enhance their ability to attract top players. It's huge. It's good for players, and it will completely alter their development path choices. It's also going to be good that this will put pressure on the CHL teams to help players do better academically. Parents are going to want to that assurance because you don't get into NCAA schools without doing well in school prior. What else they should do then? They should allow guys like Easton Cowan to play in the American Hockey League.
Yeah, so that at this age, whatever age he's at, like 18, 19.
Yeah, he's a 19-year-old.
Yeah, he had to go back to London, right?
Yeah, he can't be sent. You can only have to be
NHL, 20. Right? NHL or O.
Yeah, I believe the rule is that you have to turn 20 prior to the start of the NHL season, I think, to be eligible to be sent to the AHL.
Yeah, they should,
because as a 20-year-old, you're an overager in the OHL, right? So, I wonder. I have a feeling that rule will not be going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah.
Me
I
personally.
don't doubt it. I don't doubt it.
However, this NCAA ruling, I'm very much in support of it. There's going to be some stuff to figure out and some rough ground ahead over the next few years for some of these other junior leagues, for sure. If you're good enough, eventually I feel like everybody will find a good place to play. But it will affect some leagues for sure.
Yeah.
It absolutely will. Clark.
I agree.
How do you feel about your Maple Leafs the other day? They finally broke the Boston curse. 8 straight regulation losses. And
yeah. We know the answer, right? No Austin Matthews.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Strange stuff for sure. But they played well. And William Nylander, man, I'm really, really impressed with him. He's earning that money.
He is, unlike the other guy, but it's fine.
Who?
How about Matty Nyes? Like, this kid is unbelievable.
I like him. I have him on my fantasy hockey team. I like him a lot. He's
directly involved with 3 of the power play goals. Like, how can you pull this guy off the power play? You can't.
Well, they can't. They can't now. And that net front presence.
So who comes off?
You know who he reminds me of? Well, it's either Tavares or Marner.
JVR was unbelievable on the power play. He really was.
He was. Yeah, he was.
Tipping shots, being in front,
one of their
bigger
spots.
guy.
You know who he does remind me of, though? He reminds me of Mike Knuble. He reminds. Don't laugh at that. Mike Knuble's a serious player.
Yeah, okay. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
No, he's not in the Hall of Fame.
No, he's not.
Mike Knuble. I
thought you were going to say like John LeClaire or someone really good. Mike Knuble.
No, because he's not as good as those guys. But he does remind me a lot of Knuble on the power play. A big, huge guy that was right there to sweep in rebounds on the power play. That was back in the day when Washington had the number 1 power play in the year in the league for like 5 years running.
Are you going to come over and watch a game again?
Yeah, of course I am. Look at that TV, man. Of course I got to come over and watch a game. And I want to mention that the game that we watched together when you were having a very fun little housewarming party, you and Sue, not good. Not good. That was a tough weekend last weekend for the Leafs.
Yeah, I didn't. Obviously, I didn't see the game.
You didn't see much of it, no.
No.
I watched it all.
Yeah.
I watched it all. It was a tough one on St. Louis, man.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what? I don't know how they'll do it because he's got a lot on his contract left and it's 5.5 per. Yeah. The Leafs should try and get that Colton Parayko guy. Scored twice against them that night. Big right-handed shot.
Lots of guys they probably should try to get, right?
They should try and get that guy.
Yeah.
Freed up some space getting rid of Liljegren. Maybe you can get rid of Camp, free up some more.
Yeah.
Get St. Louis to eat some of the salary. I like that Parayko fella. Stanley Cup winner.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they turned it around. They turned it around against Boston. So happy for you guys. Happy for you. I want to talk to you too, obviously. But
how about your Capitals 8-3 or whatever the heck they are?
They're good. I think they're 9-3-2. Yeah,
9-3-2. Yeah, they beat Nashville.
Good.
There's another team that's really
holy cow! Did you hear that clip of Barry Trotz?
I as you know, I'm a busy guy. And I heard he said that they're going to rebuild during the season and they're going to make the playoffs. They're going to do an in-season rebuild. Is that right?
So he was on the sports radio station down there in Nashville, The Game it's called. And he basically said, if these guys don't turn this around, we're going to kickstart our rebuild and you're going to see our young guys play a lot more. Mm-hmm. He was very blunt. He did his best Jerry Jones impersonation. Well, I mean, like, look at the way they're playing. Like, Steve Stamkos scored in the Caps game the other night, and that was his 3rd goal of the year. The guy signed for $1 bajillion.
Well, maybe Tampa knew something after all, right?
I mean, like I still love Stammer, but man, oh man, like
Ryan O'Reilly, Luke Shen. There's a lot of.
Ryan O'Reilly said the other night when they lost, I can't remember who that was they lost to, and he said that was the worst game he's ever played in the NHL.
Wow.
Like Nashville they're gripping the edge of their seats.
I mean, Nashville's a fun town. And
absolutely.
If you're
good
winning,
fans.
it could be unbelievable to play and live in Nashville.
Yeah. Oh man.
And the good thing
sure.
is, when you're losing, no one knows you anyway.
Yeah, that's
true.
fair.
So it's
There
tough.
you go.
You really got to get motivated and play.
No state income tax.
It's not like Toronto, that's for sure.
No, it's not like
you
Toronto.
You can lose 12
sure.
games in a row and go to the bars, and you won't even be noticed.
You can't go to the bar in Toronto. Yeah, in Nashville you can. Sure, yeah. You can saunter into Tootsie's and have a good time. 12-game losing streak, no problem.
Tootsie's,
no problem.
I was in Tootsie's probably 2 years ago, and it was just when COVID ended. Yeah. And I tell you, I don't think I've ever been closer to more people in my life than when I went into Tootsie's.
It's a sardine can in there, dude.
It was unbelievable.
Yeah.
It was unbelievable. Like, there had to be a fire code violation. There had to be.
I think
with the amount of people that was in there that night.
I think that's why they call it Tootsie's, because everybody's Tootsies are touching the entire time.
No doubt about that.
You can't move.
Yeah.
Speaking of Toronto and losing games, last year, your Argos, I should say our Argos, pardon me, our boatmen, lost a very significant game in the midst of an incredible season, and it all came crashing down with just a tire fire burning performance against the eventual champion Alouettes. Yeah. And this weekend, they get a chance at revenge on Saturday.
Yes.
How are you feeling, sir?
I'm feeling good. See, now they just beat Ottawa, and they've made their way now to the final. Last year, you remember, they had an incredible season. And you remember
16-2.
Chad Kelly didn't play for the last few weeks, and a lot of the guys were rested, and then they had the bye week because they finished in first place, and then they played that Eastern final against Montreal. And not only was the team rusty, but we found out afterwards maybe Chad Kelly had a little bit on his mind at that point, and not football related. He's paid his price. He got suspended for half the season this year. He's back. The Argos are back. I see a Grey Cup in 2 weeks. Maybe I'll have a little Grey Cup party.
If you fire up a Grey Cup party, I am down.
You'll be here? Okay.
100%. I have to watch our boatmen. Hoagie will be upset. And,
That's right.
And we'll definitely, especially if the Argos win.
Do you think producer Adam would show up?
I think he would. I think producer Adam would love to come and watch a CFL party. I think so.
Okay.
Argos Alouettes East final at 3 on Saturday. The West final, Rough Riders, who a lot of people did not pick to take the Lions down. They did.
Well, certainly not. Who'd we have on the show? Joe Tilley.
Yeah, Joe Tilley did not.
It was a BC
thought the Lions
final.
were going all the way.
That's right.
Against the Argos. Yeah. Well, that's not available to us.
The Riders and Bombers. Yeah, Mike O'Shea will have those boys ready.
Mike O'Shea, yeah. I mean, and in a playoff game in a big way, you know that dude knows what's up.
Yeah.
So is that the way you're leaning? We're going to see Argos and
I think
Riders,
my head is saying Bombers, Argos. My heart would love to see Western Riders and the Argos in the final. Just Saskatchewan, such a great franchise, right? And not that the Bombers aren't, but the Saskatchewan, they have many so loyal fans. And unfortunately, the games in BC, I'm not a big fan of that stadium.
BC place,
but the Riders would have a lot of people go out. It would be a great atmosphere if the Riders.
Absolutely.
No doubt.
Absolutely. Well, and the Jonas Brothers will bring some people out too. My girlfriend almost flew out.
Yeah, she did.
She debated it.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I doubt we should go.
Talked her off that list. She just leaned in the door.
We should go. We should go.
Jonas Brothers. We should go, but I can't because we have games that night, so I can't do it.
Not on a Sunday night?
We have a game the night prior. We have the game the night prior, and I'm not missing that. So, but I can come if you're going to do a watch party.
I will do a watch party. If the Argos win. Mark it down.
Yes, Argos got to win. If the boatmen aren't in, I'm not watching.
No.
Mark it down. All right. So let's move on to the couch potatoes this week. Okay. And man, would you like me to go first this week, or are you prepared? Do you want me to go?
I'll do mine quickly. I don't have any.
Okay.
I don't have any viz, as we say in the biz.
Because I have a lengthy
no
one.
viz in the biz.
Mm-hmm.
But you mentioned it earlier, Ryan, and I promised I wouldn't make you my couch potato any longer. But man, you come to a party. Okay. You come to a party.
Don't do that.
And there's 90 people show up at my party. There was a lot of people.
There were a lot of people at
89.
Your party.
We counted at 89 is what we were at. 89.
I had to walk half a
Adam would have been
just
90
to get to the door.
Thanks, Adam. And Jen would have been 91. Anyway, Ryan stood in the same spot for 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
And didn't talk to anybody except
That's
Sadie.
Not true. That's
Sadie.
Not true. I talked to you. I talked to Sue.
Yeah.
The gracious
you watched
host.
the hockey game.
I talked to your daughter the entire time.
She was sitting on the couch. Right
who
there.
Did all of our graphics, by the way.
Yeah. Graphic designer. Graphic manager.
More shout. Graphic app. Yep. Graphics Amanda. I talked to her the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
She was over there watching the Leafs with us, and we were critiquing how terrible they were against the Blues that night. 0 for 4 on the power play? Like, come on.
Anyway,
I talk to people.
You're
That's
my couch potato because you were a couch potato that night.
Whatever, dude.
Plain and simple.
Okay.
Anyway, what's yours?
Thanks for the party. Listen, dude. So I want to give a quick shout out. Jordan from the Storm Track, the Guelph Storm Track, the fan club. They're working on a really cool contest for fans right now. And graciously, they did not need to do this. They've got a partnership that they're doing with a neat thing that's in the works, and it involves EA Sports NHL. Now, you know my feelings on that.
I do.
Title.
I do.
But he graciously reached out to me because I run the podcast with, and interview the players and people. Yeah. And I have a good relationship with the trackers. They're good people.
Sure.
And he said, "Hey, we're gonna get a bunch of codes for the game this year. Would you like one?" And I was like, "You really don't have to do that, please."
Wow, Ryan.
No, like that's not necessary.
You did.
And
you didn't.
Said,
you might have said that, but you were thinking, yes.
I was not, honestly, because I was kind of like, I don't, you know how I feel. And I said, no, really, like, you don't have to do that. And then I get a message this week and said, we've got a bunch of codes. You're taking one. Here
you go.
Like, he sent me the code.
Okay.
And I was like, okay, I'll punch it in.
Yeah.
So I downloaded NHL 25. Thank you, Jordan and the Storm. Like, very amazing stuff. Okay. So EA Sports signed a deal with the NHL Coaches Association to have the coaches' likenesses
put
in the game
before, right?
I think they did in like the mid 2000s. There was a time
it was a long
when the
time
coaches
ago,
were in the game. Yeah. But we're talking about when the graphics were, terrible, right?
Exactly.
The coaches are in the game.
Okay.
Producer Adam has some of the screen grabs. So there's the ad there. There's Paul Maurice in real life. Okay. Yeah. And this is the screen grabs. So we'll filter through some of these, and I want you to try and tell me who some of these guys are. Can you name for me who any of those coaches are?
Well, yeah, because I can see who they are. That's Paul on the left. That's Boston coach to next to him. That's Lindy
Ruff.
Ruff.
Not Paul on the left. That's not Paul Maurice. No, it's not.
I don't know who it is then. But that's the Boston coach, then Lindy Ruff, right?
Yeah, Jim Montgomery, Lindy Ruff.
Yeah.
And then?
Yeah. Well, I don't know his name. I don't know who coaches the Flames.
Yeah, that's Ryan Huska.
Yeah,
Let's move on to the next. Let's move on to the next one. What about
I just wish I couldn't see the uniforms because I can see who they
I know the uniforms give them away.
That's Rick Tocchet? That's not Rick.
Yeah, Tocchet is the best looking one.
Oh, yeah, I see it now. He's got a shiny head, for sure.
Tocchet's the best looking one.
Yeah. Spencer there. I see Spencer.
Yeah.
Your boy. Okay. Can we keep
Carbs looks not terrible. Yeah, let's go to the next one. Some of these are getting off the rails.
Well, they're better than yeah, that doesn't look like Ruby, really.
No, but let's find the one, producer Adam. Go ahead. Let's find the one with John Tortorella in it, because it is that's Torts there on the left, I think, of that one. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
that does not look like Torts.
He did Torts really dirty, man. You can tell some of them didn't get like the face scan. Torts would never get his face scan, but it is rough. Like they full on silver foxed Torts. It's not good.
Mm-hmm.
And there's another one that's really bad too. I think producer Adam might be on this next one. Yeah. Peter Laviolette. He got done really dirty by the developers, man. This is, oh my God. Travis Green on the far right there is pretty good.
Yeah.
He'd be, honestly, I think that Rick Tockett's probably the best one. Spencer Carberry might be 2. Yeah. And Travis Green is probably 3. The rest of them are rough.
Just careful, man. You got the game for free. Just careful.
I got the game. I don't care. Take it away. What do I care? I'm just
you have 2 controllers
away.
now.
No, but see, there's
like I want you to
Paul
bring
Maurice.
It over. Let's play. I want you to bring the game.
You don't want to play me, dude. You don't want to.
I beat you before. Just bring it over
beat me.
But you have. I have. But you have 2 controllers. Like, how would we play?
I don't have 2 controllers. They're expensive, man. It's like $100 for a controller.
Can't you buy one on Marketplace?
I could, yeah. I don't know. I'll consider it. We'll have to have an NHL day.
If I can find one on Marketplace and you say you'll bring it over occasionally, I'll buy one.
I would. I'd bring it over every time.
It'll be mine.
If like it.
Yeah,
100%. If you want to keep it around.
What do you have? PS5?
Yeah.
Okay, PS5.
PlayStation 5. Again, thank you to the Storm Tracker. Like, very generous. And I've been playing
generous.
the game.
Do they have any codes left?
I
don't have a console.
I'll see.
I don't have a console.
I know you don't have
Doesn't
a console.
matter.
I will say this.
I do have a lot of PC Optimum points, so I can buy one.
I bet you could.
I don't know if Sue would like that.
See, give you a little cookie here. Why not? You know?
Yeah. Okay.
I will say this. Like, the gameplay's not bad. Like, there's some improvements.
There's improvement? Wow.
Yeah. One thing I will say too, they actually changed the HUD on franchise mode. It was jarring. I couldn't believe it. After about a decade of looking at the same damn menu screen.
Oh yeah.
I was floored to log on to franchise mode, the only mode I care about, and go, oh my God, I actually have to find my way around. I don't know how to use this.
There you go.
I was floored. I really was.
That's good.
The
good
NHL
news.
Coaches. Yeah. Isn't
good
it?
News. A little bit of an improvement. Did the gameplay, is it better? Like, because for years in my mind, you're paying $100 and whatever bucks to get a roster update.
And that's essentially what you've done here, and a fresh coat of paint on some of the menus.
I don't like it.
Yeah.
But I'll still play it.
Also, they have a new skill-based one-timer system that is disgusting.
What we need to do is, if I have a Grey Cup party, we'll have a Chell.
I'll bring the PlayStation. Yeah.
A couple hour Chell party before that.
We'll do it. I'm absolutely into that.
Okay.
What are your thoughts on the NHL coaches in the game? What do you think of them? Because some of them are.
Well, I like that the coaches are finally in the game, because it was Mr. Generic behind the bench for years, right?
Yes. Yeah. It's immersive.
Good. They should be, and they should have got effort, paid, and they probably did.
They would. Yeah, they would have absolutely for sure.
So I think I like it. I like it a lot. It's good. It should be in the game.
It's a miniature step in the right direction. It's putting one big toe in front of the foot. They
just need to open it up to some competition is what they need to do. What was the other game called?
They need 2K.
Yeah, 2K.
Sega was, NHL 2K. You're absolutely right. Other developers need to be allowed to come in there.
But
curious to hear what everybody else's thoughts are on the NHL coaches and how they look in their torts. My God, I hope somebody shows them that. It'll really grind his.
You're big on that, eh?
He won't give a damn.
No.
Did you see his press conference the other day again? By the way, torts is the best. What'd you think of that line? It was good that they got a chance in. Yep. How do you think Kolosov played in net? Okay. That was
Just
the
okay.
that was the press conference.
Did they give him a just okay?
He just said okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Anyway,
Okay.
remember,
Speaking of okay.
You can, yes, you can find this show Friday nights at 8, Sunday nights at 9 with our friends on Whiteman TV. Channel 6 for Whiteman subscribers. We debut on our YouTube channel Friday nights at 9. You can follow us on social media at Instigating Pod and find the podcast version on all your favorite podcast apps. That's Clarkey. I'm Drury. We will be back next week to break down what should be an exciting CFL Grey Cup final matchup. The Boatmen better be in it. We'll see next week on Instigating.